Hi, 2B. I hope you enjoyed your weekend. Good morning if you're watching this in the morning, good afternoon if you're watching this in the afternoon, and good evening if you're watching it in the evening. This week in reading, we are going to continue with poetry. And today we are going to look at a specific poem, and that is limericks. We're going to go over this book, and it's going to help us identify what a limerick looks like and what it sounds like, and then we'll look at a slideshow that is going to break it down so you guys can create your own limerick, okay? So for the past 2 weeks we've been looking at different types of poems, and we've seen that some poems have rhyming words, some poems don't have rhyming words, some poems are short, some are long, some have stanzas, some just have a couple of lines. This specific poem is going to have rhythm, okay? So that's going to be the focus, is that it has rhythm. So this is the way the words in a poem sound together. Rhythm makes poems feel like music. In fact, many songs or poems set to music. To make rhythm, each line has a pattern of syllables or single sounds. Syllables can be stressed or unstressed. So let's take a look a little bit more at syllables and syllables that are stressed and not unstressed, okay? Because that helps it create rhythm. Dog is a single syllable or sound. Boy is also a single syllable. Chicken has 2 syllables. Clap your hands as you say a word. This helps you count the word syllables. Okay, so chicken, it has 2. Now, what is a stressed syllable? A stressed syllable is a part of a word you say a bit louder. For example, say, go outside. The last syllable, side, sounds louder than out. Side is stressed. So let's try that. Go outside. The last syllable, side, sounds louder than out. Poems can be about anything. People often use poetry to talk about feelings. Poets also write poems to describe an action or event. You could write a poem about an everyday activity such as playing ball with your dog, or a special event such as 4th of July, fireworks. People often use poetry to have fun. You get to play with words when you write a poem. The famous poet Robert Frost called poetry serious play. So let's get into what a limerick is, okay? So limericks are written especially for fun. They have a bouncy rhythm, just like we said in the beginning. Some people think these poems got their name from a town in Ireland called Limerick. Some of the oldest limericks were Mother Goose nursery rhymes like Hickory Dickory Dock. They were put in a book called Mother's Goose Melody in approximately 1781. So here's an example of a limerick. A cow once jumped over the moon. She jumped just a moment too soon. She started to flop as she rounded the top. She bounced like a giant balloon. How many syllables are in the first line of this limerick? Let's count it. A, 1, cow, 1, once, 1, jumped, 1, over, 1, the, 1, moon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Has 7 syllables. And we can also notice that moon and soon rhyme, flop and top rhyme, and balloon rhymes with moon and soon. So let's look at the sound of limerick, okay? To make limericks work, poets have to follow some rules. All limericks have 5 lines. Limericks also rhyme in a certain way. A rhyme is when the endings of 2 words sound alike. For example, cat and bat rhyme. You guys are experts at this, right? So all limericks have the same rhyme pattern. This means that rhyming sounds repeat in a certain order. The different rhymes in a poem are given letters. A limerick rhyme pattern is A A B B A. This means that lines 1, 2, and 5 have the same rhyme. A. Lines 3 and 4 have a different rhyme. B. So let's get into the PowerPoint now so you guys can see an example of that, because we're going to look at the pattern, the rhyming patterns A, A, B, B, A. Okay, so A, A, and the last line have the same rhyming words, and the two middle lines will have the same rhyming words. But let's go ahead and look at that in our PowerPoint. Okay, so we know that a poem is a special kind of writing, and in a limerick, we are going to see rhyming words, okay? So this is my planning page. You guys will have access to the planning page, so you can plan on your own limerick. Okay, so this is a page you will be using, and I'm going to show you how to fill it in. So we're going to begin with choosing a person or a place you would like to write about. I chose a person, and his name is Ned. Okay, so now I'm going to list words that rhyme with your person or place name. So I'm gonna now choose words that rhyme with Ned and what I'm gonna talk about in my poem. So Ned rhymes with bed. Fed. Ned rhymes with fed. And school. What rhymes with school? Stool. And one last word that rhymes with Ned is head. Okay, so this is all you have to do on this planning page. Choose a person or a place, and then start picking words that rhymes with the person or place, and then pick some other fun rhyming words that you can use in your limerick. So remember that I said that limericks have rhythm, okay? And to make rhythm, each line has a pattern of syllables or single sounds. Syllables can be stressed or unstressed. So let's look more into that. Okay? What does that mean? A stressed syllable will be in high pitch, longer in duration, and usually a little louder. Okay? So just like we saw in the cow and the moon, you say the stressed syllables either in a high pitch, longer, you say it longer, or you say it a little bit louder. Okay, so we're going to be looking at this poem, okay? We're going to continue with the poem about Ned. So in the limerick, remember that it has rhyming pattern, okay? The first line rhymes with the second line and the last line, okay? And then the two middle lines have a different rhyme that rhyme with each other, and you'll see that as I go along with this poem. So again, with rhythm, you'll notice that this poem here is going to have 3 beats in the first line, 3 beats in the second line, and 3 beats in the last line. And the two middle lines will only have 2 beats. Okay, and we'll talk about how we can identify the beats. Okay, so let's look at the line. There once was a boy named Ned. Once, okay, that is a single syllable that we are stressing. So we're saying it a little bit louder, or we're saying it with a higher pitch, or we're saying it longer. Okay, so boy is also a stressed syllable. And Ned is a third stressed syllable. And that and then in the second line it reads, who simply would not go to bed. Okay? Sim is a stressed syllable. Not is another stressed syllable. And bed is the third stressed syllable. So if you can see 1, 2, 3, that means I have 3 beats. Okay? So your stressed syllable is your beat. So there once was a boy named Ned who simply would not go to bed. Okay, so do you see how once, boy, and Ned are said a little bit louder? And then we have the rhyming patterns. Remember that line 1 rhymes with line 2. And our rhyming words are Ned and bed. Okay, so now let's look at the middle lines. The next day at school, he fell off his stool. Okay, so next and school are our stressed syllables, and fell and stool is our stressed syllables in this next line. So remember 2 beats. Okay, the next day at school, he fell off his stool. So 1, 2. And then you'll see that the middle line rhymes with the next line, school and stool. So let's look at the last line. Too weary to hold up his head. So can you guys guess the 2 stressed syllables? Is it 2? I'm sorry, it's 3. Can you see the 3 stressed syllables? Weary, hold, and head. Okay, so that gives us our 3 beats. Too weary to hold up his head. And remember that the last line rhymes with the first 2 lines. So head rhymes with bed and Ned. Okay, so let's say, now I'm going to say this poem completely so I can put emphasis on the stressed syllables. There once was a boy named Ned who simply would not go to bed. The next day at school, he fell off his stool, too weary to hold up his head. So you can see that where I have the highlighted, those words were said in a higher pitch or longer and usually louder. Okay, so now what you guys are going to do for your assignment is create a limerick. Okay, so you're going to see these 2 pages. You will see, okay, give me one. You're going to see this page here. This is what you'll do for Monday, and then you'll finish it off with your planning sheet.